Boom. Hello everybody, Andy here. Glass Half Dead, the #1 kill team channel in the world. Don't Google that, thank you. Or DuckDuckGo it. Right, I don't know what I've titled this. I'm having a ramble because I have a concern and I want to throw it to you guys as a bit of a discussion point. So please go ahead, let me know what you think in the comments below. I am making a point. Maybe, if I get there. But it really is just me talking about my experiences playing the game so far, because I've managed to play a few more games than most people at home, because obviously I've had it for a little bit longer. And I wanted to talk about, I guess, my experience and my concern going forward. Also, I am a super casual player. Let's be clear. Yes, I have a YouTube channel. That doesn't mean I'm a good player. That doesn't even mean I play much. It just means I talk about it, okay? So don't think that I'm talking about a certain level of competitiveness or anything like that. In fact, I'm definitely not. As I said, I'm talking about my experience. So inevitably, I'm talking about mid-tables if you're thinking about tournament play. If I go to a tournament, not that I do, I think if I go in the top half, even by one, I consider that a good tournament, okay? That's my goal. If it's 4 games, I want to win 2, okay? Cool, that's what I'm going for. And I would say that most people around me that I play regularly are about the same level. You know, every now and again, we accidentally spike those dice and we go a little bit higher. We can finish top 8s depending. But in general, our actual skill is representative of pretty mid-table players, which is cool because you know what? That's most people. By definition, that is the average. Love it. Love being average and everything in my life. Anyway, elites. I fear that we are coming to a point in this game where there are 2 games. At least for us noobs, at least for us average casual players, okay? And I think that's probably a really big issue. Again, drop a comment if you think I'm wrong. Drop a comment if you think I'm right. Drop a comment because the algorithm demands it. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so what am I talking about? Maybe you haven't played yet. Maybe you watch me, but you don't really check out what other people are saying, okay? Basically, elites are really, really good. Now, what's an elite? Firstly, obviously, that's basically a 6-model team. We mean Marines. We actually, you know, we mean Marines. Yes. We are not talking about the more common definition of elites, which means what I would term 8 or lower, which can include Eldar. We are just talking about Marines here. We don't feel like Blades of Cain, Void Dancers, etc. are broken. It's just the Marine team. So we're looking at Legionary, Angels of Death, Warp Coven, not Phobos. We'll talk about Phobos at the end. Not Phobos. That's funny though, that we might think they're broken. There's another one, isn't there? Anyway, we're talking about the Marine teams, okay? So, how can I put this across to you? Let me think. Nemesis Claw, that's the other team. Okay, so a good way to think of team power is that if everybody, you know, was playing just a team with just stats on the board, then, you know, you're going to go 50-50. Everything should be a 50-50 win rate, okay? That's the perfectly balanced team. However, if I, as a 50-50 player, an average player, play into somebody else and my team is better than their team, but it's within a certain tolerance, it's still basically 50-50, but it will give one of us an edge. Cool, fine. We understand that. That's how things work. It's not full rock, paper, scissors. There's a lot of skill expression in Kill Team. Is that true? Different talk, different topic, not the point, okay? And that's fine. So we can have some variance there because, of course, the game is based around a variant of dice. So inevitably, certain imbalances in the game are hidden behind the fact the whole game runs on dice, which are imbalanced themselves. Cool, that's fine. That's fudge factor, that's fluff. That's how games, as people currently want them to be, are supposed to be. Because if you don't do that, you end up with things like Guild Ball, where things went too far, they removed the dice, and better players won 100% of the time. That's another issue again. I'm bringing up too many issues here. I can't cover this all. I apologize. I'll stay on target. Usually, no. So, cool. We understand. We understand. Now, if I get a really good team, then what I can do is play into an equal skilled player. And instead of going 50-50, because I'm playing an objectively better team, with that objectively better team, I can out dice the dice. I am able to, how can I phrase this best? Let's say the dice provide a 10% margin of error, right? You roll enough dice that most of the time you're going to come close to averages, okay? We don't, but let's imagine we do over the course of a day, right? However, if your team is good enough where you can fluff rolls and still win, that's probably a bad sign. In general, games tend to be based around the idea that you at some point start rolling averagely. Now, average can be high and low. It's not you always roll 50-50. It's, yeah, okay, in that dice roll you rolled nothing. You fluffed it, all ones. But in this dice roll you rolled 4 6s. So you come around to it. That's how it works. Inevitably, those are the extremes, right? But elites allow you to just not care what your dice do. Not 100%, but let's just say you go way beyond the fudge factor that the rest of the game has built into it. If you think about it, in general, our defense rolls are 3 dice, our fight rolls are 4 dice. That means we're always dealing damage statistically. Does that mean you always take damage on every attack? No. Why? Dice. Okay? Now, when you think about how good elites are, you don't care about your dice. How can you identify if a team is strong? Let me tell you, this is the #1 way to know if your team is good, okay? How many dice are you rolling to attack? Like 5. That seems way better than 4. Cool, what do you need to hit? 3s. That's really good. Okay, do you have access to rerolls? Yes. All of the elite teams have access to rerolls, hitting on 3s, 5 dice. Great, you've made a broken team. Oh, how many wounds are you? 14? Nice. Now, we also have to consider, I'm getting to a point. No, I'm not, that's a liar. I'm just rambling about stuff. I don't know, guys. Anyway, so, cool, right. We have to think about one other thing when it comes to the elite teams. They're meant to be good. Okay, cool. Why? Because they're the most popular teams. They are just inherently, people like Space Marines, people like Chaos Space Marines. Those are some of the 2 biggest, most popular factions in 40k, therefore, logically, probably in Kill Team 2. Nice, awesome, I love it. That means we're going to get a lot of beginner players playing them, like moi. I see what GW's done, they've pulled me in. Now, I don't like Marines, they're fine, whatever, cringe, but you know, whatever. I just like not having as many models. In fact, if you give me a 6-model team that isn't Marines, I will play that, which is why I'm really excited for the upcoming Orcs, in fact, because they're 8 models but 2 are squigs, whatever. And so I'm quite hyped for that. So Marines are going to have the most beginner players, okay, just naturally, and they're really, really strong, okay? Keep those 2 things in mind. Now, all the playtesters are really good players, okay? From what we know. And so we can assume that they've balanced the game around them having the skill to beat a beginner player. Even if that beginner player is playing the noob-friendly elite team, okay? So, I suspect that if you are not an elite player, you will never beat Marines. Cool. Which brings us to a game of 2 halves. We have the haves and the have-nots. We have the 1% and we have everybody else. I'm still talking about the game. So, we have a slight problem. We have 2 games in Kill Team now. And they're really good games. I should have put this at the front, not 10 minutes into the video. Nice, good stuff. Playing elites into elites is really fun. It's a really good game. Genuinely, that could be the game. That could be Kill Team. We could just have a bunch of 6-model teams running around killing each other. I love that. That's great fun. Love APL 3, love 6 models. It's a quick game, it feels good. Because everybody's rolling hot all the time, because you're 5 guys hitting on 3s with a reroll, you're smashing it. It feels brilliant. Love the game. Then on the flip side, you've got everything else. Now, everything else doesn't play into elites. Imagine that game. That's also a good game. Now, it's not my particular kettle of fish because, you know, there's too many models. I like APL 3, they're all APL 2. It is what it is, but it's still a really good game, okay? These two games are balanced independently of each other, and they work brilliantly. The problem comes, and I want to be clear, I'm not talking about the top 1% of players. I don't care if they can beat elites as anything, not really my problem. I'm never going to play them, and I'm never going to play them as elites or not as elites, so it's irrelevant to me. My problem is when a little noob like me says, I don't like Marines, and I don't care about the play style of Marines enough to play Marines. You know what I like? I like the new Vespid. I like Kroot. Rip. You're bad, mate. I like Blades of Cain. I like, not Mandrakes, they're broken too. Nerf them, thank you. I like, you know, whatever. I like them. Cool, that's fine, new player. You go and play them. Now, statistically, you're going to go up against an elite team in your first game because everybody loves Marines. So you're going to play a squishy team that isn't very good at killing stuff and dies easily. And you don't know what you're doing. And you're going to play into an elite team. Now, even if you're both noobs, you're going to lose. There's no way. It doesn't matter how many mistakes the elite player makes, the new player will lose that match. Okay? Cool, let's bump it up. Let's go to average players. We're talking about me now. I know the rules. I know how to play. I roughly know your rules too. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Now, as an elite player, going into you, I'm loving this game. This feels good, okay? Because it's not an auto win. I'm not like I have to play, I have to focus, but I am going to win that game. And I'm probably going to table you. And there isn't a huge amount you can do about it unless you just cede the board to me, which is fine. You can do that and I'll win without tabling you, but I will win, okay? Now, my opponent, or me, if I'm playing not the elite team, if I'm playing into an elite team, I cannot beat that elite team. This is the point of the video. This is the crux terminatus of the video, if you will. I can't beat elite teams. If you want to drop that comment, edit your comment. It should just be, it's a skill issue, and then put the rest of your comment, okay? Skill issue, rest of comment. I'm cool with that, that's fine. I can't beat elite teams as anything other than an elite team. As I say, elite versus elite, great game, love it. Really close, really tight, really well balanced, beautiful, beautiful game. As anything else, I'm fucked, okay? I can't stress enough how boneronied I am. This isn't 100% true. There are teams that can beat them, and that's great, but not all teams. You know, hey, I'm sure if you're playing Kassakin or, what are they called? Inquisition, where you can run Kassakin, and you can take 3 AP2 weapons. Sorry, what's it called? 3 P2 would be now. Piercing 2 weapons. Yeah, you're going to beat Marines. That's fine. I'm not saying that nobody can beat elites, but I don't like those teams. I hate Inquisition. I think they're a shit team, but that's on me. That's fine. I'd play Kassakin. I'll play them. But I'm more a Xenos guy. You know, is what it is. Is what it is. And the teams that I like to play literally cannot beat elites. It's not always, as I say, from the elite player's point of view, it's not a ruffle stomp. If I'm playing an equally skilled opponent, I still have to focus. But I am going to win that match. and I'm probably going to dominate it, okay? And it's going to feel really shit for my opponent. That's the truth. And that's what I'm really trying to get across here. How bad this meshed game feels. Elites versus elites is brilliant. Everything else versus everything else is brilliant. Elites versus everything else kind of sucks dick, if I'm honest. I think they've really fucked up. There you go. Now, again, I fully understand how the game got to this point. And I think that, you know, the top players out there, they are going to be fine. I don't think it's an issue for them. For everybody else, I think we've got a real problem. And to the point that, again, I'm not saying I would never beat an elite team as any other team. But if I play 10 games against an elite team and I win 2, that's obviously not correct. It should always be 50-50. Bad matchups do exist, and that's fine. In theory, that's fine that some teams have bad matchups into some other teams, right? That's cool. I accept that. The problem is we have a class of team against a class of team, not an individual team against an individual team. But unfortunately, the class of team is elites, and the other class of team is everything fucking else. There you go. This is my problem. Minor addition, minor addendum, minor aside. Did they forget what is up with Phobos? It's like, okay, so while I think all the elite teams are too powerful, and I'd love to see them nerfed just enough to bring them in line so that they're not an auto win against an equally skilled player. What did they must have been on some good shit when they did Phobos, man. I don't know what they were smoking. I have to assume crack. I have to assume it was the good pipe they were hitting. I don't know. Yeah. Have you played Phobos? Really weird, really weird. I love Phobos. They're a great team. But that ain't it, Chief. What were you doing? Rethink. There you go. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If I want to do a more in-depth guide about why Phobos suck, I'll do that in another video. This isn't that. This is the elites versus everybody else. This is the elites are too strong video. I've also finished my thoughts, so that's it. There you go. Why are they too strong? Oh, I already said that. I said that right at the beginning. The whole, like, how do you know your team's a good team? All that. Okay, all right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Couple of things while I've got you here. Have you heard of Game Mat EU? These mats are from them. They gave them to me. That was very nice of them. I'll be doing more with these later in the future. But also, why it's relevant is because if you are a Kill Team player, they do the Prague Open. It's in Prague, in Czech, which I went to back in 2018. Back in 2018 edition of Kill Team, the glory days for me. Consider checking it out. It was a great event. I would love to go this year. It's November the 2nd and 3rd, I think. But unfortunately, I can't because I'm actually in Poland instead. But yeah, if it wasn't for that, I'd 100% go. And I hope to go next year. So go check them out. Game Mat EU. Chances are you have a game mat from them because they're pretty good. So go check out the Prague Open, that's for sure. Also, coming in hot soon, if you need some objective markers, I'm going to give you a link pinned in the top comment, along with that Prague Open, to some objective markers you can buy off Etsy from Crossfire Games. Hey, we all need objective markers. We all know it's the facts, so go check that out too. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Stay gangster. Oh, finger guns. Bye. Yeah.